This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Thursday, the 2nd day of April in the year 2020. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here is what we're tracking tonight. On the heels of a number of other municipalities instituting curfews of their own in the fight against the coronavirus, the Georgetown City Council today announced that with effect from this Saturday, the city will be closing up earlier and there will be a ban on gatherings of more than 5 people. While not calling it a curfew, the Georgetown City Council's measures will force the closure of all municipal markets until further notice, while other businesses will only be allowed to operate between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. daily. The closure of the markets will take effect from Friday at 7 p.m. Farmers, wholesalers, and retailers will only be allowed to ply their trade at the Border Market and the Stabroek Market on Fridays and only between the hours of 7 a.m. and 1 p.m. moving forward. All roadside vending and street selling, inclusive of snackets and cook shops, will be closed off until further notice.
The Mayor City Council of Georgia, taking into account the scourge of novel coronavirus, COVID-19, has taken several actions to desist and reduce the scourge, the spread of COVID-19 within the municipality of Georgetown. That is, we're firstly not going to be granting any permission for any gathering larger than 5. We are going to be closing all of our municipal markets until further notice, as well as on Fridays. We're going to be having our wholesalers or retailers and other vendors to be selling along the mall. So we're going to be fleshing that out a bit more, and I know that persons have concerns as it relates to it, because we have been receiving calls in that regard. But as we indicated in the morning on the program, we're going to have a further discussion with it.
Restaurants will only be allowed to offer takeout and delivery services, while hotels will be allowed to remain open. Those hotels, however, will have to close their gyms, pools, spas, and other recreational facilities. The council is also imploring citizens to refrain from congregating in public places. All public and private offices should not operate for more than 4 hours daily, and persons are being encouraged to limit their presence in the banks and other institutions unless absolutely necessary. The City Council said it will remain supportive of the government and its effort to fight the coronavirus. Businesses involved in essential services, including media and broadcasting, and healthcare and security services, will be allowed to conduct their work as usual, but with precautions being encouraged. The government has announced national measures which will also force the closure of bars and other entertainment and recreational businesses from 6 p.m. daily. That story and more coming up after the break.
Parents and guardians, you are encouraged to tune in to the Guyana Learning Channel, Cable 29 or Channel 42 for daily educational and interactive learning sessions. The nursery program airs from 6 hours to 9 hours. Primary programs from 9 hours to 12 noon. We also air informative documentaries from 12 noon to 13 hours, and our secondary level programs are aired from 13 hours to 15 hours. Please continue to listen to our radio broadcasts. The interactive radio instruction for grades 1 to 3 daily on Voice of Guyana from 9 hours 30 to 10 hours for grade 1 pupils, from 10 hours 30 to 11 hours for grade 2s, and 13 hours to 13 hours 30 for grade 3 pupils. Please remember to tune in to benefit from these educational opportunities. A message from the Ministry of Education.
GBTI is your Guyanese bank, a bank that understands every customer's unique needs, opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. At GBTI, we see you for you. Whether you're buying a new home or car, planning your next vacation or retirement, saving for your child's future, or whether you're ready to take that bold step of investing in your dream business idea, we are with you every step of the way. We hear your stories and watch you focus on your dreams as we share your aspirations. We are more than just banking. We are a family. We are part of your community. Our commitment extends way beyond the walls of our branches and is demonstrated every day in the opportunities we provide to our individual and business customers. The support, time, and commitment we give back to communities across Guyana to help improve the lives of our Guyanese families. Because we see Guyana through your eyes.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guyana Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guyana's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Tired of long lines? Register with MyGTT at mygtt.co.gy. That's mygtt.co.gy to view and pay your bills from anywhere. Enter to win an Amazon gift card worth $25 or a bounty voucher worth 5,000 Guyana dollars when you sign up today. GTT, do more.
The following is an important message from the Ministry of Public Health. Getting your workplace ready for COVID-19. Surfaces such as desks, tables, and telephones with keyboards must be wiped with disinfectant regularly, or at least every few hours. Use containers of hand sanitizers and place them in prominent places around the workplace. Provide access to places where staff can wash their hands with soap and water, and promote regular hand washing at the workplace. The Ministry of Public Health has a hotline to provide information on the coronavirus. Members of the public can call 227-4986 or 624-3067.
Welcome back. Well, in an effort to strengthen steps against social gatherings, the government has moved to force the closure of entertainment and other spots from 6 p.m. daily across the country. In a statement on ongoing measures to fight the coronavirus, President David Granger made the announcement today.
The government, in order to strengthen containment measures, will close public gathering at places of entertainment, including bars, clubs, gymnasiums, nightclubs, restaurants, and swimming pools between the hours of 18 hours and 06 hours. That is to say, between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m., with effect from midnight, that is 23:59 hours, on Friday, 3rd of April 2020. Additional restrictions to safeguard public health will be announced from time to time as the needs arise.
Additional restrictions are expected to be rolled out by this weekend. In his statement, the president said Guyana is not alone in its fight against the coronavirus. He noted that a meeting was held with partners from international and non-governmental organizations to coordinate the planning of mitigative and preventative actions against the short and long-term impacts of the virus on all sectors of the country. The president said with a rising number of cases in Guyana, it is now clear that several other measures must be put in place to keep the public safe.
The extraordinary issue of the Official Gazette, published on the 16th of March, aims at protecting the health and safety of all Guyanese and empowers the Minister of Public Health to take certain actions which have already been in force. The Ministry of Public Health, together with the Civil Defense Commission, has been engaged in mobilizing medical staff and marshalling the resources and equipment needed to fight the disease. The National Emergency Operations Center was operationalized with effect from the 31st of March 2020. The activation of the NEOC is aimed at ensuring the highest level of collaboration among stakeholders.
The international airports will remain closed, and the Civil Aviation Authority has already suspended the operation of flights to and from bordering regions. Schools will remain closed and visits to the elderly homes have been suspended. The president said fighting the pandemic requires the continuous collective action of all citizens and the entire country. Guyana has recorded 19 cases of the coronavirus. Of those 19 cases, 4 persons succumbed to the disease, with 2 of those deaths being recorded yesterday. Some regions have already instituted curfews and other measures of their own to fight the coronavirus. President Granger has welcomed those measures. While reporting that the number of coronavirus cases in Guyana remains at 19 with 4 deaths, Minister of Public Health Walter Lawrence today urged Guyanese to wear a mask that would cover their mouth and nose once they decide to venture out in public.
I am asking you, my brothers and sisters, all across this beautiful country of ours, to wear some cover over your mouth and nose if you must go out. I repeat, if you must go out. Protect yourselves from these invisible little droplets that are responsible for the spread of this infectious disease.
The health minister also encouraged citizens to continue washing their hands and to practice physical distancing. She reported that while the number of positive cases remains at 19 with one inconclusive result, 75 persons have now been tested for the virus in Guyana as calls to the hotline continue to climb. The Ministry of Public Health has come under severe criticism for not doing enough tests, although it claims that it has more than 1,400 test kits in stock. The minister and other health officials have been saying that they are following the strict guidelines of the Pan American Health Organization on when tests ought to be done on a suspected case.
I wish to repeat that the Ministry of Public Health continues to follow the testing guidelines provided by the World Health Organization, which are as follows. Allow me to explain as simply as I can. Anyone presenting fever along with one of the symptoms, shortness of breath or a cough, does not mean that they have COVID-19.
The first case of the coronavirus in Guyana was recorded on the 11th of March. Turning now to the world of politics, the attorneys in the vote recount appeal case will have to return to the Court of Appeal tomorrow morning to make oral arguments. The court is then likely to make a decision soon after. The attorneys were at the court today to file their submissions. The applicant, Yulita Moore, is appealing the full court's decision not to allow the hearing of a judicial review into the vote recount and to also dismiss the injunctions that were blocking the recount. The attorney for the PPP, Anil Nandlal, told reporters after today's brief hearing that the appeal before the court is vexatious and frivolous.
This litigation here, in my view, is, and I say with the greatest of respect, is frivolous, is vexatious, and is intended to stall the electoral process in this country, and we have stalled it enough.
Mr. Nandlal noted that as the appeal case is ongoing, no stay of the full court ruling was sought or granted, and therefore the Elections Commission ought to continue with the work that it has been doing and get the recount on the way.
Is that there is nothing stopping the recount from taking place. No injunction exists, none has been applied for, no stay of execution of any sort has been applied for in relation to the full court decision, and of course none has been granted. So as I speak now, there is nothing preventing the chairperson from summoning a meeting of GCOM and proceed with the recount pursuant to a decision made by GCOM since the 15th of March, as GCOM had promised to do.
But Senior Counsel Roysdale Ford, who's representing the interests of the applicant, Yulita Moore, said the Guyana Elections Commission ought to recognize that a case is before the court and take note of that. He said in the past, GCOM has awaited the decisions of the court.
And we expect that the chairman of the Elections Commission will honor what she always says, that she will await the hearing of the process. It is amazing that after the ruling of Justice Holder, the other side felt it proper to file an appeal to the full court. But the court system recognizes further appeals.
But in those instances, there were injunctions blocking GCOM from proceeding. There are no current injunctions against the Elections Commission. Still, Mr. Ford contends that his client has a right to appeal the full court's ruling, the same way the PPP had a right to appeal the ruling of the High Court.
The position will be that the ruling of the full court, Justices Narendra Hardanan and the Chief Justice, that it is wrong in law, and we expect the full court, the Court of Appeal, to set aside the decision of the full court.
Earlier this week, the full court ruled that the court has no jurisdiction to hear the case against the vote recount and therefore dismissed the injunctions that blocked that recount. While the Guyana Elections Commission wrapped up the meeting this afternoon without a definitive decision and moving forward with a recount of all the votes for the elections, the commission is set to meet again tomorrow when a decision will be made. At today's meeting, the chairperson told the commissioners that the commission could not consider a motion by Commissioner Vincent Alexander for the chief elections officer to be allowed to present his report on the declarations, since a contempt motion by the PPP restrains her from doing so. The GCOM chair said she had given an undertaking to the court to facilitate a recount at the level of the commission. At that stage, one of the commissioners requested time for legal guidance to be sought on the matter, and the meeting was adjourned until tomorrow, when a decision will be made. Earlier at the meeting, the GCOM chair had requested that the commissioners discuss the possibility of the recount within the framework of the law. Opposition-nominated commissioners raised concern in that regard and said the court has paved the way for the commission to finalize its deliberations to operationalize the vote recount. A motion was put forward by Commissioner Robeson-Ben in that regard, but he then withdrew it. The government-nominated commissioners are contending that though the court has discharged all the injunctions, it would be necessary for there to be some legal guidance for the commission to conduct a recount, since the court has refrained from issuing any directions on the way forward. Let's tell you now that the Commonwealth group of ministers has expressed concern about the ongoing situation in Guyana regarding the elections, noting that it has grave concern that the credible and transparent counting and tabulation of every vote in Region 4 have been persistently frustrated. The group of ministers on Tuesday met via video conference. In its statement this morning, the group said it stands ready, along with its partners, to provide assistance to ensure a credible and transparent conclusion to the electoral process in accordance with the will of the people, as expressed at the elections. The Commonwealth group of ministers stated that the government, which is sworn in without a credible and fully transparent vote count and tabulation process, would lack legitimacy. The ministers have agreed to keep Guyana on the formal agenda, and where necessary to convene an extraordinary meeting to discuss the situation and explore appropriate options. It has commended CARICOM's efforts at the invitation of President David Granger and the agreement of the Leader of the Opposition to support a transparent and credible counting of ballots under the authority of the Guyana Elections Commission. While expressing regret that the CARICOM team was forced to end its visit because of the court action and other concerns, the group called on the Commonwealth Secretary General to remain engaged on the situation in Guyana. While noting the Constitution of Guyana clearly states that sovereignty belongs to the people of Guyana and recognizing the GCOM chairman's undertaking that votes will be recounted, the Commonwealth group of ministers also stated that Guyana's judiciary continues to be seized with protracted litigation on issues of national importance. U.S. Ambassador to Guyana Sarah Ann Lynch has brushed aside criticism that U.S. government officials are interfering in Guyana's internal affairs with their statements on the Guyana elections. In a statement this evening that appears to be in response to a recent foreign affairs statement about respect for Guyana's sovereignty, Ambassador Lynch said in foreign policy the difference between meddling and practicing good diplomacy is that good diplomacy involves sticking to bedrock principles of human rights, good governance, and transparency, and whenever possible underscoring the values that bind the country you represent to the country in which you serve. The ambassador said that Guyana has displayed its leadership in defense of representative government recently by joining other Lima Group members from the Americas to strive for a democratic resolution to the crisis in Venezuela. Ambassador Lynch said she hopes Guyana maintains its good standing as a member of the Lima Group by counting all the election day votes through a transparent and credible process. Guyana, she said, is certainly not Venezuela, and it should be kept that way. The ambassador went on to state that the U.S. government is entirely nonpartisan about which party wins Guyana's 2020 elections, since they all offer the opportunity to continue an excellent bilateral relationship based on shared commitment to supporting improved governance, prosperity, and security in the country. Secretary General of the Organization of American States, seeking the urgent intervention of the OAS to execute a recount of votes for Region 4 only. In a letter signed by PSC Chairman Jerry Gavaya and carrying the names of several other organizations, the PSC declared that the Elections Commission has demonstrated that it cannot act impartially, and confidence has been lost in the constitutional body for the delivery of free, fair, and credible elections in Guyana. The OAS is one of the international organizations that observe the Guyana elections elections. The organization withdrew its observer mission on the 13th of March over the controversy that erupted about the tabulation of the votes in Region 4. In the letter seen by news source, Mr. Gavaya pointed to the controversy over the declaration of results for Region 4, stating that the refusal of the Guyana Elections Commission to utilize the statements of poll to tabulate and declare the results for District 4 has brought into question the credibility of the official results tabulated by the Chief Elections Officer. The final tabulation of the votes for Region 4 was done by SOPs, although there were claims of discrepancies. The letter by the Private Sector Commission stated that the electoral process for the other 9 electoral districts was executed in compliance with all relevant electoral laws, and those results are not in dispute. Concerns have been raised about the results in some of the other regions, and like in Region 4, there were requests for a recount, but those requests were denied by most of the returning officers for those regions where concern was raised.
Wondering how you can access free learning materials for your children? Parents and guardians, please visit the Ministry of Education's website at www.education.gov.gy to access textbooks, past papers, and practice tests to keep your child engaged in continuous learning. When you have accessed the site, go to the Students tab, wait for a second, and choose the appropriate option. You now have access to the resources you need. You are encouraged to take advantage of this opportunity as we strive to provide the best education for the nation's children. A message from the Ministry of Education.
They've made a positive impact on the heavy-duty transportation industry in Guyana since they've arrived. Guyanese are amazed at their power, durability, efficiency, and superior handling capabilities. These are brand new trucks, manufactured in partnership with German, Italian, and French companies. They have a powerful reputation for operating under very adverse Guyanese conditions and come with full after-sales service and spare parts. They're the most sought-after trucks today, with over 500 units in Guyana, and they're available in over 100 countries, including South America and the Caribbean. Be smart. Buy brand new ST Howo trucks today. Call 608-4998 and arrange for an inspection at ST Truck Guyana Incorporated, Block B, Public Road, Covenant, East Bank, Demerara.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right. Walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong. Be the one to live right.
Falls, a trademark of China's Zhanghao Incorporated, located at Land of Canaan, East Bank, Demerara, was incorporated in April of 2013 with over $10 billion Guyana dollars invested in a state-of-the-art 100,000 barrel fuel storage facility, a modern service station, an office complex, and a modern wharf that can berth international vessels. Having no association with any other fuel company, Falls imports its own fuel, which meets quality specifications, has all the legal permits, and is in compliance with international requirements. Its bulk facility can load 8 trucks simultaneously at a rate of 1,000 liters per minute, while the service station can service 12 cars at a time using computerized fuel pumps, which can facilitate the use of ATM cards. Through its professional team of mostly Guyanese, Falls wholesales and retails fuels to the public, including farmers and miners, and will continue to positively contribute to Guyana by providing quality products, service, and attractive prices. Try Falls today for all your fuel needs.
The following is an important message from the Ministry of Public Health. You can prevent the spread of the COVID-19 virus. If you have the following symptoms: coughing, fever, or difficulty breathing, please stay home. If you don't have these symptoms, then practice social distancing. Avoid crowds. When in a group, keep a distance of at least 3 feet between yourself and other persons. Please wash your hands with soap regularly or use hand sanitizers. The Ministry of Public Health has a hotline to provide information on the coronavirus. Members of the public can call 227-4986 or 624-3067.
Across the region right now, let's start in Barbados, where a 24-hour curfew will come into effect for the island tomorrow as government continues to fight against the spread of the coronavirus. The decision to increase restrictions on Barbadians less than 24 hours after the government had imposed new hours of business and restricted movement was delivered today by the acting Prime Minister, Cynthia Bradshaw. All restaurants will be closed until midnight April 14, but bakeries and bread depots will remain open. Bradshaw also revealed that another case of the coronavirus had been recorded after 33 more tests were conducted overnight. Barbados' count now stands at 46 positive infections. The fact that Barbadians continue to exhibit panic buying appeared to have forced the administration's hand. The acting Prime Minister told the media that Cabinet subcommittee that deals with COVID-19 had been forced to meet with supermarket and gas station owners as businesses were struggling to keep things under control. From 5 p.m. tomorrow, persons will now only be allowed on the street for legitimate business, inclusive of the purchase of food from village shops or medication from pharmacies. Still in the region, the U.S. says it is sending warships to the Caribbean to stop illegal drugs. The move comes a week after the U.S. charged Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and other senior officials of his government with narco-terrorism. It accused them of flooding the U.S. with cocaine and using drugs as a weapon to undermine the health of Americans. A $15 million reward was being offered for information leading to the arrest of the Venezuelan president. The Venezuelan government called the U.S. deployment a diversion from the current pandemic spreading across the U.S. and the world at large. The U.S. military deployment will further escalate tensions between the two nations. And finally tonight, international news. Another 760 persons have died in Italy over the past day, bringing the total number of deaths to almost 14,000. The daily death toll is still relentlessly high, but the rate is slowing down up to 6% from yesterday. Compare that to last week when the number of deaths was rising by around 10% or more each day. Also encouraging in Italy is the rate of new infections. The number of people currently infected rose by just 3.1% today. Those increases have been fairly steady all week, a sign that the situation is starting to stabilize, the BBC reports. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting.